What is going on, guys? As your boy, Ollie Footy, back with another World Cup recap. We are on day 15. Time is flying by. Man, but you guys know what we're here for. You guys see it? Dembele hat trick. My goodness. Let's get the song going. Usman Ballon d'Or. Usman Ballon d'Or. My gosh, what a performance today. France beat Norway 4-1. But before we get deeper into this, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. You guys know, hit the description and then just hit that link and then just hit the follow button. That's 3 clicks max. You know, maybe your description's already open, so that's 2 clicks. Hit that follow button. Come back to this video. All right, now that we got that out of the way, also make sure you guys like and subscribe. I gotta make sure I plug that too. We're trying to get to 3K subs. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to the nitty gritty here, man. Ousmane Dembele, what a performance, man. Dem boos. My gosh, first goal, absolute classic Dembele. Fake shots with the left, chops, finishes with the right. Whew. It's so hard to predict because I don't know what it is with Dembele. I think that left foot has a little more finesse, and that right foot is just pure power. That's what it is for him. And it's like when he can combine the two, make you think he's going on the left, and then surprise you with the power, it's unstoppable. And then the other two goals were just pure honey. Right? That's what they say in French. It's like du miel from honey. That goal, brother. My gosh. Just left-footed curlers. Left-footed curlers. Di Maria might be proud, man. Di Maria. Oh my, man. Sometimes I imagine Di Maria in this current PSG team. That's like, man, could you imagine that? But anyway, that's unrelated. But my goodness, the quality of goals today from Ousmane Dembele cannot be praised enough. Easily man of the match. And for Dembele, it felt like it was time for him, shout out to Jay-Z, for him to reintroduce himself. Do not forget, this is the reigning, defending two-time champion of Europe right now, and the reigning Ballon d'Or holder, the reigning best player in the world, the reigning FIFA the best player, the reigning Globes soccer player, the World Cup, Ballon d'Or, Champions League. He's in that club with Messi, with I think Kaká and Dino. Like, whoa, bro. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a legend of the game living. You might not want to accept it because you've seen his career wasn't great the entire time at Barca, you know, but what he's done the last, 18 months, 2 years, it is exactly the stuff that makes careers historic, mythical, legendary. And we have to just accept it. Now he's got a World Cup hat trick on his resume. Come on, come on. Not and at that, one of the fastest World Cup hat tricks ever. I think maybe the second fastest. Some guy did it in like one of the first World Cups, but I don't remember who it was. But man, yeah, it's just now he's on the on record sheets. Like when you're a player, right, and you're starting to be, you're winning things. That's cool. When you win things, that makes you great. But if you're winning things and now you're getting written into, actual records and like people 50, 100 years from now will be like, man, who was one of the first people to win, this triple crown of Ballon d'Or, World Cup, and Champions League? Dembele's going to be on there. Who was the Ballon d'Or? Dembele's going to be on there. Who scored one of the fastest World Cup hat tricks ever? Dembele's going to be on there. First half World Cup hat trick. Dembele's going to be on there. Like that is greatness, 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 greatness. So not enough can be said about Mr. Ousmane Dembele, Monsieur Ousmane Dembele, Monsieur Ballon d'Or. Increíble, incroyable, incredible. All the languages I know. That's all you get from me. We also got to shout out the rest of the French team today. They played very well today. I like Tchouaméni's performance today. Mbappe obviously played a crucial part in those goals, getting the ball to Dembele on the right hand side. Yeah, Dembele had to do the work to finish it, but Mbappe getting him in that zone, perfect. Some good hold up play as well. Especially if you're a Madrid fan, this is what you want to see from Mbappe, to hold the ball and then send it through to a runner. That is classic nine play. And Mbappe has always been talented to do that, but it just has not happened. So to see him incorporate that and do that, repeat those actions, that's what you like to see if you're a Madridista. If you're not a Madridista, you do not want to see this. Now, France, incredible wash 4-1. But we also got to talk about Norway because what are we doing? What are we doing? The Norwegian manager, I'm not really going to try to butcher his name here, Solbakken. Hopefully that's correct. Completely throwing away this game. And for me, look, I'm lauding the French performances, and I don't want to bring up an excuse of the Norway B team because you look at the stakes of this matchup. This game was for first place in the group, right? That's why France brought their A squad, and obviously, also shout out to Didier Deschamps. I'm sure a lot of them wanted to play and honor him in a way too. But France was playing for first place. This game was for first place. Norway had the opportunity to go into first place in the group, and you get a much easier matchup against most likely Sweden. You might even get Paraguay, depending on how the third place matchups, figure themselves out. But Norway threw that away, like voluntarily. What's up with that, man? I don't understand. look, some people were saying, maybe it's better to just say, hey, let's cut our losses versus France. Let's give them the first place. We can go into our round of 32 matchup more rested than our opponents. Fine, I guess. I hope that works out for you, bro. But I don't like the rest argument because there's hydration breaks now. It's a four-quarter game, this World Cup. Let's call it what it is. It's a four-quarter game. I don't even know where Norway's playing. They might be playing in a dome for all we know. Not that it makes a big, big difference in terms of fatigue, but the climate, that's going to help to have a climate-controlled stadium. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it pays off for them. But for me, as far as the spirit of the World Cup, I don't like to see teams resting. And it's not that it hasn't happened before because I remember last World Cup, France rested their entire squad versus Tunisia, and Tunisia ended up winning that game, by the way. But France were qualified as the first place in the group, right? There's no incentive for them to risk the first team players. Here, Norway is second place. You have all the incentive to go and fight for that first place. I don't like to see it. I don't like to see it. But it is what it is, man. That's Norway's decision. That's what they wanted. And look, they made their cake. You know what I'm saying? They made their sandwich, and this is what they got. And yeah, you got a 4-1 washing. Now, France probably could have had a few more goals. Mbappe had that crazy miss. Well, it's not really a miss. It came off the post early on. And, Norway maybe also probably deserved a few more goals too. But it's tough because, I mean, you've got a missed penalty, of course, but also the quality of the Norway squad might be a little bit less. So it's tough as far as the expectations go. However, there is one thing that I keep bringing up with France. And look, this French team is incredible. It's incredible. Honestly, I'm thinking of like teams this talented that are supposed to go and win this tournament. I can only really think of Brazil '02, Brazil 2002, right? Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo, right? R9 Ronaldo. That team was incredible. That attacking trio was incredible. But you go and think about it, Rivaldo was kind of getting older at the time. Ronaldinho, not yet the Dino we knew and loved, right? He was just getting started in Paris. He was setting some he was turning some heads in Paris at the time, but not nowhere. You were not saying Dino was the best player in the world, right? Like you were saying like later on, like 2005, 2006. But this French team, different. Mbappe, best player in the world talks. Olise, best player in the world talks. Dembele, best player in the world talks. Like I'm trying to think of teams with this much talent. Like three best players in the world. Like you could argue there's been two, right? With Spain and that midfielder Xavi and Iniesta in 2010, right? Those are right top three Ballon d'Or. But since then, like this much talent, I can't tell you. I've seen it, man. And then you got these three. Let me open up the thought mob here. You have these three, but then you can throw Due in the left, who's one of the best young talents in the world, or you can throw another best young talent in Cherokee or Barkula, or even Akliush. It's incredible. You could throw Taram in there, and my goodness, if they had Ekatike, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm not thanking the Lord for Ekatike being injured, but like if you're any opponent of France, right, you're like, man, oh my God, what would you have done with Ekatike in this team, man? And even then, if Ekatike is out, you can bring in a Mateta. If it's all gone to to ish, you could bring in the likes of Nkunku or Kolo Muani, like even those guys who are not in this team, like the depth of France is incredible, bro. Croupy, bro. Like, oh my God, I can't. But look, France played well today, but I still think there is one thing that you saw today that I think will catch up with France across the tournament if they're not careful. And I've said it before, this is their major flaw. And now, also with Saliba out and Lacroix in, this might be even more exacerbated because the spaces between the lines for France can get really big. And you're asking a lot for the midfielders to cover, especially this double pivot to cover a lot of ground. If you come against a midfield that overloads you in the middle, like a Spain, like I'm looking at Spain, or I'm looking at potentially Portugal, right? If they play with Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes and obviously Neves and Vitinha, like that's gonna be tough for France to deal with, just having so much density in the middle of the field. They're just not going to be able to cover all that. In Argentina, where Messi's going to be in the middle, obviously DePaul sometimes holds the right, but he can invert. Like all of these guys are going to be in the middle of the pitch, so close together. It's going to be tough, I think, for France to cope with that if they're not careful. And now you have Lacroix, who's covering strikers, and he's a good center back. He's no Saliba. You're asking a lot, and he did not have a particularly outstanding game today. So that's going to be something to watch out for. It's interesting because Lacroix is actually higher in the hierarchy than Konate. And, considering Konate plays, bigger clubs and bigger, just background as far as Konate played in the World Cup final, right? It's interesting that Courtois is actually in this place over Konate. It shows you Konate must be having a bad time so far in training and just his form. But if Saliba does not come back, because we know he's dealing with injuries, it could get scary for this French team. It could unravel in the back. And look, your attackers they're always going to be there, right? But if they have a bad day, and it can happen, I've seen it happen, right? You have all the attackers in the world. Obviously, PSG fan, I've seen all Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe have terrible games at the same time, right? Like they've had a game where they've all just been bad. You need your defense to like to pull you through. You need your defense to be able to pull you through. And I hope it doesn't happen for France, man. I really hope someone in the attacking front is, actually balling that day, if not all of them. But it's going to be tough, I think, in that case, if they have to rely on their defense to get them through a game at one point. We'll see what happens, but it's something to pay attention to. It's something to pay attention to. I would not overlook it. However, if Usman Dembele is in form like this, Uruguay, I said it, man. Tenemos un problema. We have a problem in Spanish. And wow, speaking of the Spanish, uh, honestly, is it safe to say after this result that Uruguay is a fallen giant? Right? You saw they're ranked 16 in the world, and maybe they'll continue to be ranked this way. And look, there's still a lot of talent coming through the Uruguayan ranks, but I just feel like Uruguay have fallen far behind now. Like back to back World Cups where you're out in the group stage, and this one even more embarrassing than last one. But back to back tournaments like this, and not particularly convincing at the Copa America. Um, I feel like you're kind of falling behind in CONMEBOL, behind your Colombias. You're obviously already behind Argentina. I mean, I think they beat Brazil in the Copa America on pens, but you know, Brazil look better now, right? So you could argue they're behind Brazil and maybe even behind Ecuador. So now you're talking about them not being, a top four team, potentially not top five in CONMEBOL. Although that might be a stretch, but you're the fifth best team in CONMEBOL. Like I don't know. That might be too far down for the status of Uruguay and what they've done in football, throughout their history. And you look at this game, man. Oof, oof. Just sad. Just sad. That's all I can think about, man. I mean, you can talk about the goal first because, oh my days, this brother might be the worst player in this tournament. And like, Qatar played this tournament, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time, every game has been so underwhelming and poor from him. Awful, awful, awful stuff. And yeah, just the goal he lets in here, absolutely baffling. Yes, it bounces in front of him, but if you have strong hands, if you dive with correct form, you stop that. Like an average keeper is stopping that goal that they conceded. And I think, 40 years old, it's time for Muslera to, unfortunately, call it a day. Just call it a day, man. You can't keep costing your team, in big games. And especially when you're being out there, being an active liability. It sucks. He's been a long time keeper, but time to go. It's time to go. And now going with him is the entire Uruguay team. But yeah, man, they sub him out at halftime. And it's just like, it's so sad because, like I said, this Uruguayan team does have so much talent, right? Regardless of what you think about Ugarte, unfortunately, he had a very bad injury tonight. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery, right? That's still talent, right? That's talent. Bentancur, solid veteran. Oliveira, I've gone over this, right? You got Maxi Araujo, Valverde, Nunez on your team. You should be doing more. You should be doing more. You should be able to compete with Saudi Arabia for sure, right? But they just drop the ball. It's as simple as that. Now Spain were not incredibly convincing today. I mean, it was honestly not a great performance from Spain, but that shows you how bad Uruguay was. It shows you how bad they were, and the goal they conceded just even before Muslera concedes that. I mean, the fact that the ball even got to the box there, it just like that's so poor all around, man. And I've been reading some rumors or speculation that Bielsa kind of lost confidence in the team. And I mean, when you see Valverde getting substituted off before the 60th minute, makes you think, man, Valverde, the captain, the heart and soul of the team, out. Not even getting to the 60th minute of the game. Shows you this Uruguay squad seems to be kind of fractured, broken, losing belief. And yeah, man, right now, I think it's safe to say Uruguay has fallen. They're a fallen giant right now. They could always awaken. You bring in a better coach, you rally the guys. You know what I mean. You get a better keeper. There's improvements to be made, of course. But right now, man, it's just sad. It's just sad to watch Uruguay. So sad, especially when you think like I immediately think of the 2010 World Cup when I think of Uruguay, and obviously that Ghana, situation, not great. However, the talent on that team was unmistakable. Forlan was absolutely incredible, and you think of the players like that, Forlan, Suarez, Cavani, all of them. Like, man, where's that gone, bro? Godin, like, it's tough. It's tough. It's big names to live up to, obviously, but and the talent is still there. But man, you've got to somehow improve if you're Uruguay because it's looking incredibly, incredibly dim and incredibly grim. Now, Spain, again, not convincing. Look, I'm not going to draw too much conclusions from this from Spain because, to be honest, they were still the best team in this group by far, and they are definitely not at full gear. But I think one thing for Spain is I feel like the midfield for Spain has been a little underwhelming this tournament. Like, you expect a little bit more from your Rodri or Pedri. You started Marino today. You could start with Almo. Almo missed a terrible chance today in the box, by the way. Fabian Ruiz, like, they could have some more out of the midfield, I feel like. And then on top of that, Nico Williams not being 100% for them is still a big miss. He came in today and he kind of had a little burst there before. I think it was De La Cruz or was it? Yeah, it was De La Cruz who kind of just kicked him, and he got a yellow for that. But with a full healthy squad, this Spain team I think is going to reach a different level. So I'll wait till then if they get there to make that judgment. I expect them to win the round of 32 game and then probably face Portugal. We'll see how that turns out. It could be Colombia too, I think. But yeah, Uruguay. It's sad to see them like this. We got to go back, to the lab and figure out how they're going to come back to the next World Cup better prepared and be able to make the knockouts for once. I think since 2018, right? When they lost to, might have been France, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, bad loss for Uruguay. They are out of the World Cup. The World Cup is over. Now, let's talk about people whose World Cup is continuing. Senegal, man. Oof. Senegal, Senegal, they knew their assignment. They knew the mission. They set out a mission to accomplish today, and they accomplished it with flying colors. Now, I thought they'd maybe win 2-3-0, but that red card early on opened the floodgates. They came out of the second half, like, man, we know what we got to do. We need this many goals. Let's go get some goals and then some. And for me, I think the target for Senegal would have been 3 points with 0 goal difference, even goal difference. They went above and beyond, and they got +2 goal difference. And we'll go take a look at the third place table now. But this is a huge, huge win for Senegal, and it could be a turnaround for them as far as the rest of this tournament. We'll see who their round of 32 opponent is at the end of this. If they can get past them, they got a chance. But that's going to be a major obstacle, a major, major obstacle. But let's go pull up this third place table because I think they're fifth right now. Yes, they're fifth. Fifth. They are the best team with 3 points in the competition. It's going to be looking pretty tight for Senegal. I'm not sure if they're confirmed yet. I'm not sure, but it's going to be looking pretty tight because you have Croatia who can play, but you would finish above them if they don't win. If Croatia don't win, if they just lose, really, because if they draw, they'd have the 4 points. They go above, but the Croatia Ghana result will be huge. Obviously, Algeria and Austria will be huge, and what Congo does versus Uzbekistan will be incredibly important as well. But Senegal are basically there, I think, if not confirmed, they're drastically close. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But Senegal absolutely did the job today. We have to shout them out because they were underwhelming, absolutely embarrassing, especially versus Norway. And I think for the champions of Africa, it's good for them to show their true colors. You know what I'm saying? Their true level, and really get the tournament started. So I hope to see them in the next round. And yeah, they're going to be a tough team for anyone to beat if they're playing like this. Also, we have to clap it up for Cape Verde getting a huge result. Now, I thought they would beat Saudi Arabia. Maybe that was a little, adventurous. But, if you could score on Spain, why not? And you could score on Uruguay, why not? Although those Uruguayan goals they scored were very kind of fluky. They were pretty fluky, let's be honest. But you'd think they could score also. Oh, there's a gnat in here. Sorry. But you think they could score versus Saudi Arabia. Now, doesn't matter. They didn't need to do that because you get the point, and now you are qualified for the round of 32. The smallest nation ever to qualify for the World Cup knockouts. Take some pride in that if you're a Cape Verdean, because that is absolutely incredible. And look, man, Wakofa, we are killing ourselves for Africa, as they are saying, man. What a quote by Nicholas Jackson. And now I think that's another African team, by the way, qualified for the knockouts. Probably going to see a record number there. We'll see how many get into the round of 16. I'm really interested to see that stat more than just the round of 32. However, this is still a very proud stat for the continent, especially because people discount African football. People didn't know Cape Verde were a tough team to beat, even though they were very good at AFCON in 2023. So when you see that, and now you see their performance here, it's not as surprising. But also at the same time, you look at the nations they were going up against, you could still see why some people are like, man, wow, Cape Verde is tough. And I think this is great, especially that this comes with the 48 World Cup expansion, is the fact that now you're getting to know a lot more about, football in other regions, right? Especially I think if you're European or you're super Eurocentric with your football, which I understand a lot of people are because that's where all the top players play in the club level. And, obviously European teams are always there as far as international tournaments with the World Cup, or, you're talking about the Euro. So I get it, but open your horizon, man, expand your horizon. African football is lit, and it's very, very much at a similar level as some of these big teams, right? Senegal, your Ivory Coast, and Morocco's. All of those can go with the best of the best. So yeah, great for Cape Verde. I'm very happy. Let's see what they do. I think they have Argentina. That'll be a huge matchup. They'll probably won't win that, but hey, man, you know what they say: 99% chance, 1% faith, or whatever the thing is. A 1% chance, 99% faith, bro. We'll see what happens for Cape Verde, but totally proud of this team for getting that result. Now let's talk about the late night games. Egypt and Iran drew on points here. And man, Iran, oh my gosh, at the end, Iran, I thought they scored that winner, and I felt the goosebumps, bro, especially when you consider the obstacles this team has had to go through. But it was not meant to be, just offside. And yeah, it's gonna be a 1-1 draw for Iran. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the third place table here, but Iran will finish in third place in this World Cup. Egypt qualified directly to the round of 32, and Iran are currently in sixth place with an even goal difference and 3 points. The second best placed team as far as having 3 points. Wow, it's gonna be kind of tight. It's gonna be kind of tight because Algeria yet to play, Congo yet to play, Croatia yet to play. You gotta hope Croatia loses to Ghana. I think that result is gonna be huge, not only for Iran, but for the likes of South Korea or possibly in Algeria, right? So we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, big result for Egypt to qualify directly, and they were on the verge of being in this third place table. But I think because they would have had 4 points, they also would have qualified directly. And lastly, Belgium. I mean, we all predicted this. We all predicted Belgium was going to put belt to A on New Zealand. Unfortunately for those Kiwis, it is the end of the road. But Belgium qualified directly, top of the group. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to take away from this. It's just the gap between the two teams are large, and it showed. But let's get to the bracket. The bracket, the best part of the video. Let's start at the top. Okay, so right now it seems okay, yeah. So this is confirmed. Germany and Paraguay will play against each other in the round of 32. France and Sweden confirmed. South Africa, Canada confirmed. Netherlands, Morocco confirmed. Now this is where all of this will change tomorrow. If depending on the results, they might stay the same. Who knows? This could change based on what the Austria and Algeria game ends up being like. Do you want to take that chance though? Because obviously Austria going up against Spain is a tough matchup. But if you decide to say, hey, let's gamble and go third place, right? What if you don't get, in that third place spot that you're looking for? Like, for example, I think if I'm not mistaken, if the yeah, you could end up here versus Belgium, which you'd probably rather take than Spain, or you could end up down here versus Switzerland. So it could all change. It could really all change. But yeah, this game is going to be huge. I think honestly, if you're Algeria, just go and win. Like if you're Austria, go and win, because I would not want to take a chance on this third place draw. This could end up very badly for you. You could end up eliminated because the games are not entirely in your control. Now, because I think they play last, they'll actually know for sure what they need to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I mean, these games are incredibly, incredibly exciting. England, Senegal, as it stands, Senegal could change. Mexico, Ecuador. Wow, what a game that would be. Yeah, Belgium, South Korea will be a fun game, but I don't think South Korea are going to make it, man. It's looking too tight for them. Um, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. But Australia, Egypt confirmed, most likely to face Argentina. That'll be fun. But these round of 32 is crazy. Some big clashes projected here and scheduled. Obviously, Netherlands and Morocco. I mean, England, Senegal is huge. Colombia, Croatia, huge, huge games. So we'll be paying attention to that this coming weekend, or not even the weekend, because it starts on Monday. This shit starts on Monday. This starts actually on Sunday, tomorrow, technically. So we'll be there, man. But yeah, it's the end of the group stage. It is now do or die. It is now win or go home. This is what the World Cup is all about, boys. Thank you guys so much again for watching. It has been your boy, Ollie Footy. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, comment. I will respond. Don't you worry. I love to debate. Again, thank you guys so much. It's been your boy, Ollie Footy, and we